Thanks everyone. Great that you've all joined us here today. So thanks for joining. This webinar is looking at mental health support in sport and physical activity. My name is Sam Perks and I am Sector Support Lead for Physical Activity at Mind, and I am joined by Carla Burton.
Morning everyone, I'm Carla Burton and I'm the Physical Activity Officer for Regional Network Support.
Fantastic, thanks Carla. Obviously difficult times at the moment, so we do hope you are taking care of yourselves and also focusing on your mental health and also the things that we enjoy. Today is the first webinar of our new webinar series. So there might be a few IT glitches, hopefully not too many, but our webinar series will be taking place over the next 12 months and potentially beyond. So this webinar aims to raise awareness and clarify the mental health support that Mind is able to offer the sport and physical activity sector. And this should help create a more inclusive and accessible environment which better supports and engages people experiencing mental health problems to be active. Just before we get started, just wanted to say a bit of housekeeping. So all microphones are muted just to avoid background noise, but please do use the chat function to ask questions. We do have a dedicated Q&A at the end of the webinar, but feel free to answer questions throughout and I'll try and pick them up. And if you have any issues as well, we'll try and sort those out. We've also disabled videos, but you are able to start your video up if you would like. More than happy for you to. And just to let you know that this webinar will be recorded and then we'll be sending it out to everyone in the next week or so. But it's great that you're all joined us today, and the webinar is going to cover the following. So we're going to look at the progress of the sector over the past 5 years, provide an overview of our physical activity programs at Mind. We're then going to run through our brand new mental health support for the sport and physical activity sector. There's a document and graphic that goes with that, so we'll run through all of that. And then at the end, then we've got a bit of information on our regional networks, and we'll finish with a question and answer session. So to kick off, we just wanted to highlight and recognise what the sector has achieved so far. There's been a huge amount of developments in the last 5 years, and we really want to support this. So if you joined our Charter Celebration webinar last Wednesday, you would have seen this graphic, which we're now trying to promote as much as possible. And as you can see, the sector's done a huge amount of work around mental health in the last 5 years. And this really is just a snapshot of everything that has taken place. And we've developed a milestones booklet to highlight the great work that's taken place in the last 5 years. And there is a link at the bottom of this slide. So when these are sent out, you can access that booklet. So our physical activity programs have expanded significantly in the past few years. So we want to just give you an overview of our programs and what they entail. So we work on 3 key programs within the physical activity team. There is other work that we focus on, including the Mental Health Charter for Sport and Recreation, and also around elite sport and mental health. But these are the 3 key programs that we focus on at the moment. So we have our Get Set to Go program, which is aimed at local minds. So there's roughly about 120 throughout England and Wales, and also their service users, so people experiencing mental health problems. The aim of Get Set to Go is to support people with mental health problems to find the physical activity that is right for them. And over the last 5 years, we've funded and supported 29 local minds to provide sport and physical activities for their service users. In the current phase, we're supporting 19 local minds. Quite a lot of their activities are on hold at the moment for obvious reasons, but they are trying to take those onto digital platforms. And we have encouraged all our Get Set to Go sites and local minds to link in closely with local and regional sport and physical activity organisations, and that is really increasing. We're seeing a lot more local minds link in with active partnerships and also local football clubs and trusts. And that moves us on nicely to our football partnerships, which focuses on the football community, which includes fans, staff, players and clubs. And the aim of the football partnerships is to improve the way that football, sport and society approach mental health, and by doing this by increasing awareness and raising vital funds for mental health projects. And the football partnerships consists of 2 partnerships. So we have our On Your Side partnership with the English Football League, which has been extended for an additional 2 seasons. And then we also have our Heads Up partnership with the FA, and that links in with Calm, Sporting Chance and Heads Together. And that will be running through this season, or what's left of this season, and next season as well. And then the final key programme that we work on is our sector support programme, which is aimed at sport and physical activity organisations. And the aim of the programme is to ensure more sport and physical activity providers are equipped with the skills to support and engage people with mental health problems in physical activity. And we've created this diagram to sort of showcase the formalised support that we've developed for the sector in the last year and going through for another year. And we created this to ensure that we can support as much of the sector as possible. So at the top of the pyramid is our partnerships, and the learning from these partnerships is then shared amongst the sector so that more organisations can replicate good practice. We also have developed our regional network programme, which started up at the end of last year, and Carla will be talking more about that later on in the webinar. And then at the bottom is our universal offer, and this is available to the entire sport and physical activity sector. And this includes things like our training, resources, toolkits, the events we host, our newsletters and so forth. And because there's been so much work around our universal offer and it has expanded, we've developed a new document to showcase everything that the sector can access. And so over the past few years, the sector has been doing huge amounts around mental health. And as a result, our support at Mind has developed and grown considerably. But we're aware that some feedback has highlighted that many organisations are unaware of the support that they can access from us. And so as a result, we've created this new document, Mental Health Support for the Sports and Physical Activity Sector. And this highlights all of the mental health support that is relevant for the sport and physical activity sector and where you can access it. So we're really hoping that this document will provide a one-stop shop for all of your access needs and to support you in creating a welcoming and inclusive environment for people with mental health problems to get active. So just over the next sort of 5 to 10 minutes, we'll run through both the document and the graphic that comes with this, just so you have some more information on what it entails. So hopefully this all works. fine, IT permitting. So this is the graphic that comes with the document, and hopefully you can all see that on your screen. Please do let me know if it isn't showing just through the text box. So we created this diagram as a bit of a process map or a checklist to signpost and showcase all of the various steps organisations can take around mental health. And so each task includes links to relevant support to help you to complete each step. So for instance, if you want to build your mental health knowledge, you can access Mind's information and resources, which hopefully is taking you through to our web page here. So this graphic just gives you an overview of all of the support available and also that checklist to make sure that you're working on relevant mental health aspects. Okay, and then this is our new document. So we'll just run through this quickly. So there's the diagram graphic that was shown, and then it runs through the different elements of our support. So for instance, training, we provide information on our mental health awareness for sport and physical activity e-learning. So that costs £15 plus VAT and takes roughly 2 to 3 hours to complete. And the aim of that is to provide the sector with the knowledge, skills and confidence to better understand and support people living with mental health problems to be active. There are discounts available for bulk purchases, and there is a link to First for Sport who deal with all of those. And then moving on to the resource section. Oh, actually, sorry, just to mention that our e-learning is an introductory course. So we have provided additional training. So there's links to our mental health awareness, mental health first aid, workplace wellbeing courses, and that includes our free mental health for small workplaces e-learning, which is available for businesses with up to 250 members of staff. So moving on to resources. So we have developed lots of resources for the sector, but probably the most relevant one is our Sports Sector Toolkit. And so on this page provides the different guides which encompass the toolkit, and it includes things like information on mental health and how to understand, terminology, safeguarding, and how to manage risk. And throughout the toolkit are good practice examples to provide you with inspiration and ideas on what you could possibly do. So the entire toolkit can be found here, and it's a nice 57 pages long, but on the previous page it breaks it down into those different sections. And we've also provided all of the other relevant resources for sport and physical activity organisations, including our programme evaluation of Get Set to Go in phase 1, and all the recommendations for the sector. And then there's some other mental health specific resources towards the bottom. And what you'll also see throughout the booklet are these bubbles which have stats within them, and feel free to use these in your work or funding applications, and also to showcase the positive impacts that physical activity can have on your mental health. So also included within the document is our other support services, and there is a lot that we are able to offer the sector, including our monthly e-newsletter, which includes updates on our work, good practice examples, learning from the sector, and upcoming opportunities and events. And if you haven't already signed up to that, then please do by emailing sport@mind.org.uk and we'll add you to our mailing list. We've then got our regional networks, and like I said, Carla will be running through that in a little bit. We have our new webinar series, so this is the first one, and webinars will be added to our Eventbrite page throughout the year with upcoming topics including mental health training and volunteering, and then in the pipeline we've got ones around safeguarding children and young people and workplace wellbeing, so look out for those, and they will be promoted within our newsletter. We've also got links to good practice examples on the Mental Health Charter page and also Sport England's mental health webpage. We've provided a little bit of information on Local Minds there. They really can offer you some localised mental health support. We would say that currently they are prioritising very focused work such as therapy, doing that online and digitally. So at the moment they don't have the capacity to take on any new work. But hopefully at the end of all of this, the coronavirus, they'll have more capacity to support the sport sector. And also at Mind, we have the info line, which is available to anyone. So if you have any mental health problems or you have questions around mental health, then please do call or text the numbers in the document. And then we also have Ellie Friends, which is our online peer support community, which is the public providing support for each other. And there are some Be Active pages on Ellie Friends that we are continuing to update, especially at the moment. And then moving on to workplace wellbeing. This has been a huge area for us over the last few years, and we continue to develop the support for organisations and supporting mental health at work for staff within the sector. So this includes things like wellness action plan templates for staff and managers, our workplace wellbeing index, and various mental health at work training. And as mentioned earlier, there is that free e-learning training available. But the one we would say is probably most important for the sector is the Thriving at Work Guide for Sport and Physical Activity Organisations. And I'll just quickly access this guide now. So this provides practical examples of what employees are doing across the sector at the moment, as well as helpful tools. So just scrolling through, for instance, see good practice from the sector. There's quite a few examples throughout the document to help you. And then there's also some practical tools and resources to help you, such as questions that you may want to include in staff surveys. And then finally, we have the external support services available to you, such as the Mental Health Charter and also the Time to Change websites. And they have lots of guides and activities that can help you. And there's also a range of other organisations within mental health who can provide support and guidance to you. And they are listed in the bullet points in the document. So that is a very quick overview of what the document entails. Hopefully it will be helpful in signposting everyone to relevant support. And we really would encourage organisations to have a look at the diagram and the checklist to see where they are. It's great for organisations who are on the start of their journey, but also for those who have already made commitments and taken action. In the follow-up to this webinar, we will be sending a link to the document and graphics, so you have that as well. Emma, I've just seen your question. Do you have an easy read document on well-being? At Minds, our documents are easy read on the website. If they're not, please do let us know, because we are trying to support our colleagues as much as possible to have easy read documents. And so on to regional networks. So I'll pass over to Carla, who's going to give a bit of information about these.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sam, and hello everyone. It's great to see so many people tuned in today. So as part of our sector support programme, we launched 9 regional network hubs, one in each of the 9 government regions in November last year. The regional networks will bring sport, physical activity and mental health organisations together to upskill more organisations around mental health awareness, to support those with mental health problems to be more physically active, to promote Minds' universal offer and support, to improve collaboration between mental health and the sport and physical activity sector, to provide face-to-face and virtual networking opportunities, and to share best practice and learning and shine a light on key programmes and developments in their region. Officially launched on the 6th of November, each regional hub is led by a lead organisation, as seen on the diagram on the right of the screen, and will receive support from Minds until March 2021. Next slide, please, Sam. Thank you. I would really encourage everyone on this webinar today to get in touch with their regional network. The regional networks will support you to connect with local mental health organisations, training and resources more specific to your region. Details are on the screen, which include links to the lead contact details, which can be accessed when we send through the webinar slides, or alternatively on our website, which I will place in the chat box now. Just to point out that the South East Network will be hosting a tweet chat tomorrow on barriers, challenges and opportunities using physical activity to maintain our mental health right now. Please do join in the conversation at 2 o'clock tomorrow under Twitter name @ActiveOxen. Thank you everyone, and I will now hand back over to Sam.
Thanks, Carla, appreciate that. So some questions coming in. What about Wales? Very good question. This is funded by Sport England, so at the moment there isn't anything available for Wales. We are looking to contact and link in with Sport Wales to see if this is something that could be run in Wales as well. And that's something that will be taking quite a bit of time, because this is a completely new programme for us and for Sport England. And so more information will probably be coming out towards the summer and later on this year. And again, Gillian, with Scotland as well, that is something that we will be looking to share the learning from, and also how these regional networks can be run. Emma, you've asked about any in London. At the moment, we don't currently have a London network. There are quite a lot of networks within London that we're linking into. So, for instance, we're working with London Sport on their physical activity for health network, and also another network, so Healthy London Network. So at the moment, we're working to confirm what that will look like in London, but there is support available. Shelby, you asked around Lancashire. Yes, please do go to Merseyside Sports Foundation. I believe Kyle is on the group chat. They're brilliant up there and really keen to support the whole of the region. Does the document just relate to England also? A lot of the support is available to anyone and everyone. So for instance, the e-learning training can be accessed by anyone. All of our resources can. It's more face-to-face delivery and our regional networks, that is England only. So Gillian, are we connected with Sports Scotland and Wales, or are they different associations? We link in a little bit with those, but for instance, in Scotland, there is Sam H, who have a sport and physical activity workforce, so they will support Sports Scotland, and Wales as well is similar. But we do link in, and like I say, the learning from our regional network programme will be promoted and shared with those, and it might be something that they look to include going forward. I just want to say, when the slides come to you, each of the regional networks and the hubs listed, if you click on those, you'll be taken through to the relevant website. They all now have a web page dedicated to their regional network. Hopefully I've managed to answer most of the questions there. If I haven't, please do put it again and I'll try and get to it in a second. There we go. Just proving that if you click on it, it does take you through to the relevant regional network hub. Okay. So given the impact of coronavirus on the sector and on everyone's well-being, we just wanted to provide some key links that we've developed at Mind at the moment. So there's this toolkit which is available for everyone and has some amazing advice and guidance on how to look after your well-being at this time. And then if you're a manager or you manage workforce, then there's a couple of links there as well which can help you. We do encourage you to take a look at these guides. We know there's a huge amount of information at the moment, and so we've tried to condense those into those 3 links. So hopefully they are useful to you. And as mentioned, this is the first in the webinar series. And so we have a webinar on the mental health training that's available to the sport and physical activity sector, taking place on the 21st of May. And then we will have a volunteering one, which will provide insight from Get Set to Go, information around peer support in relation to mental health. And also it's going to look at our planned launch of our new mental health champions guide. I say planned because with everything up in the air at the moment, we're not sure if we'll actually be able to launch that at that time, but that is something that we are working on at the moment. And that webinar will be on the 2nd of June, which is during Volunteers Week. And all of our webinars will be uploaded to our Eventbrite Physical Activity at Mind webpage. So that is all the content for today's webinar, but we do have time for questions. So please do add those to the group chat and we'll try and answer them as much as we can. Reese, you asked about, are those England focused once more? Is that in terms of the coronavirus links? Because that is available to anyone. So again, that's England and Wales, but relevant to Scotland as well. Just let me know if that's what you were asking about. Thanks, Emma, appreciate that. So Reese, I'll just go to you first. The webinars are open to anyone. So they are for Wales and Scotland as well. So please do promote to colleagues and other people. Beth, in terms of the volunteer one, feel free to share them with your volunteers, but it's more aimed at the people coordinating and managing volunteers or developing volunteer programs as such. So there may be relevant content, but we say mostly it will be focused on the person managing volunteer program. Helen, thank you from Scottish Curling. Yes, we're more than happy for you to link to the resource on your webpage. What I would just say is maybe just check with SAMH, so the Scottish Association for Mental Health. If you haven't linked in with them already, they are a great organisation. We do work closely with them, so feel free to link in with them first. They may have something similar, but yeah, just check in first. But yeah, you're more than welcome to use it. Please promote as far and wide as possible. And then from Emma, are there any other university sector colleagues interested to see any best practice in our sector that we can share? Yeah, if there's anyone who is from a university, please do mention on the chat. I'm not sure if that's Emma from Loughborough University, who we work very closely with. But yeah, that would be great if people are able to share best practice across the sector. I know universities before coronavirus had a major focus and priority on mental health and were using physical activity as one of those ways. I'm not sure who it is, M. Gardner, working at Tyne Met College, running a FIFA 20 esports tournament for students to combat isolation. Great idea. We're seeing quite a few of these at the moment. I think it was Leyton Orient were hosting one, raising money as well. Great idea to engage students at the moment. Emma, sorry, you're from Warwick. Apologies. Keith, in terms of promoting them on your website and Facebook page, please do. We encourage that to get it out as much as possible. There's some people asking around materials specifically for local sports clubs. One of the things with this document is it's very generic, and we are looking at maybe creating ones that are specific for potentially venues, so such as clubs, leisure centres and so forth, one for volunteers and workforce, and then maybe one that's more aimed at HR and those looking around workplace wellbeing. We wanted to release this first and see if there was appetite for that. So the fact that you've put that, I think, shows that there probably is. So we'll look to gain feedback and then maybe develop something in the coming months. Anna, are you concerned about public mental health and the rise during COVID-19? Do you have any further reactive plans other than the toolkits and thoughts for post-COVID-19? Really good question. Obviously, at Mind, we're very concerned about public mental health at the moment, and also after the coronavirus. And across Mind, we are looking at ways that we can support not only the sports sector, but all sectors and everyone in the UK. We are finalising plans at the moment, and a big campaign will be coming out in the next few weeks around that. So look out for that. And do we have any further plans other than toolkits and thoughts for post-COVID-19? Again, something we're working through at the moment. We can't really say too much, but we are working with a lot of organisations from the sport and physical activity sector on what is the most required and relevant support at the moment from Mind. Again, we'll be trying to get that out as quickly as possible. So Steve, many of us who are delivering physical activities directly with people to support their mental health are obviously now unable to do so. Any guidance from Mind as how to do this remotely, digitally? Great question, Steve. One of our colleagues in Newport Mind put something on Twitter yesterday, and I've forgotten her name now, but she actually each day does a bit of a webcam webinar with participants and signposts to the most relevant support at that moment in time. Now, that is a great example, and there are lots out there at the moment. The problem that we're aware of is that a lot of people with mental health problems may not have the internet. And so we're working with Sport England and other partners on the hashtag Stay In Work Out campaign to see how we can support those people to be active. And again, hopefully we'll have more comms coming out in the coming weeks on that. Helen, good question around, does any of our e-learning have certificates which our coaches can use as evidence for CPD? Definitely. So when you complete our mental health awareness for sport and physical activity e-learning, of course, you do receive a certificate which then can be used for CPD points. And just to note that CIMSPA have accredited that course with 3 CPD points as well. Emma, great idea for Steve, reach out to your local active partnership. I know at the moment lots of active partnerships around the country are looking at this, and they will be able to advise and support. Jen, any tips on how to maintain social connectedness through sports at this time? Definitely. There was the example of the FIFA tournament, but there's lots of things out there. Internally at Mind, we yesterday had a Keep You Uppy Loo Roll challenge, a bit of fun. Just saying to Carla, she hasn't posted her video attempt yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. But there's other things as well, and we're actually going to be releasing a video and GIFs over the next 5 weeks around how people can stay engaged and continue the socialness through sport at this time. One of the ways is sort of challenges. So we've used football as an example to start with, but yeah, challenging your friends and family to do a certain challenge and then video it and share amongst your group on WhatsApp. Okay, great. I feel like I've covered all the questions there, but if there's anything I've missed, please do keep adding to them. Or if you come away from today's webinar and you now have a question, then please do email sport@mind.org.uk. Brilliant that there's been some people sharing best practice and good practice on the group chat. Hopefully that has been helpful to everyone. Great example there, CrossFit Harrow providing Zoom workouts for their members to stay on top with social connectivity. There's so many examples out there at the moment. I wouldn't want to just signpost to one, but yeah, lots going on. Okay, great. So just want to say a massive thank you to joining. As I say, this was the first webinar in the series, so any feedback, please do send it through to us at sport@mind.org.uk. We want these to be as relevant and as useful as possible for yourselves. So please do let us know if there's anything that we could improve. And we will be sending you the recording from today, the slides and the links probably in the next week, because we'll be adding subtitles to the recording to ensure it is accessible as well. Brilliant. Well, thank you all. Stay safe and well, and we'll look forward to seeing you at a webinar in the future.